son and your son and me we have now had this, what we thought was the flu for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days now. It is something.
I think you guys have COVID.
I
I
think
bet
so,
that's
too.
what it is, because you're like weirdly, you don't like food anymore.
I don't like anything. I don't like food. I don't like I usually see a bunch of food porn. I can't even get into a lot of it. I don't mean naked women with food, but I'm just mean beautiful pasta with cream stuff. Like all the algorithms that send this stuff to me, like nothing. I'm also a homosexual now. Seriously, in the last 2 days, I am not the least bit
The
attracted to you.
sexual harassment ququotient in this house has gone way down.
I could care less.
Way down.
Like I find like breasts icky. Like that you would be near me and like you touch me at night. Like ooh.
Maybe COVID was a depopulation plot by Dr. Fauci.
I don't know. But I've never had this before in my life where I am zero interested in women. Whatever that's called, libido, is sayonara. That is gone out the window. Sayonara. And so yeah, I don't know if I
Maybe
would not.
it's COVID.
I would not for the first time in my life. I would not be romantic with you if you asked me to.
Sorry. Jeez.
That goes to all of you. What a position of power! Finally, in my final days, I finally now gotten to the point where I can have leverage over all the women of the earth who want to be with me. So I'm either gay or
asexual.
But then again, I checked out some men today just to make sure, and I'm not getting anything from them. And I was in the store too, and it wasn't hitting me that there's a hot guy around or anything. But then again, I didn't see one in person close, so who knows? So we should probably get a man.
If you got really close and could smell his musk or something, maybe it would kick in.
And I could feel safe in his arms, and
Yes.
maybe so.
Okay.
So that's gone now too. I'm no more sexual. No longer I can't eat anything with her. But this also this like psychologically has been weird. You know, sometimes the flu can give you weird dreams and this and that. And I had the flu kind of feelings a few days ago where all I could do was lie in bed, listen to a podcast, and then scroll through social media. And then the social media just started to make me feel sick. And I was like, oh. And I go to Instagram and I go, oh. And then to Facebook and then Twitter, oh. And like no matter where I went, I was just grossed out by the whole idea of it. And I've had this before. I once had a really bad flu in 1983, and I watched The Outsiders on a loop during my flu, and I still can't go back near The Outsiders. So I don't know what it is, but it is incredible. I had these vivid dreams that 2 days ago. Did I tell you I was going to AA?
Yeah.
I did. Okay, these vivid dreams that I went to AA.
Yeah, you were talking to me about it.
Yeah, that I went to AA, and then when I went to AA, it was it was the same group of dudes who like hung out at the Beacon Hill pub during the day. Mm-hmm. Some people who hung out at the Hub pub during the day, whatever dive bars during the day, and I was so almost instantly unimpressed. I walked in there and I'm like, "Hi, my name's Tom. I'm an alcoholic." "Hi, Tom. Hi, welcome to whatever." And then I said, "Well, like I think that I can't handle drinking, and then when I do, sometimes I tell myself I'm not going to drink, and then but I do anyway, and then they're like, yeah, Tom, we did this. You sound like Archie back here. He does the same thing. It's all the same thing." And I was like, these fucking people are stupid. This is not entertaining. I guess that's not what it's about. And But then I was like, and then we did all the things together, and we said the 12 things together, and we did all the things together, and like, oh. Because I know for a fact that all those guys are falling off the wagon. Mm-hmm. Most of those guys who I knew back at the Beacon Hill pub, who were going to AA part-time, usually court-ordered, were also going to the Beacon Hill pub.
Right.
So now I'm disgusted with AA.
Through no fault of their own.
Right. I was disgusted with Elon Musk. This is a part of another thing that I was doing. I had a meeting with Musk, and he was acting like spastic around me, and I'm like, Jesus, that can't be the guy who does the rockets. Can't be this bad. So I'm done with AA. I'm done with Elon Musk. I'm done with this ailment is no bueno. It's no bueno.
It's interesting because your daughter got over it in like a day. One of our other kids got over it in like a day. But you and our eldest son have just been laid up for days.
Yeah. He's got some of the same stuff that I have, but like these, when I said like the like going thoughts of AA and this and that, whatever, I've had all weird thoughts of reaching out to different people. I'm not talking about the AA stuff. I'm talking about other extreme stuff. Like about like getting an underground job and doing. It's like my mind is friggin' going out there, and it's all part of this like weird
hallucinogenic fever that you're having.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. I've never.
Maybe it's just too much Dayquil. You don't really measure your Dayquil.
I don't, because some jerk. Okay, you know I'm fond of you, and you might want to, and certain members of your family who listen, who cautiously may want to just mark this here. If you put another Dayquil little cup inside the dishwasher, or inside the sink, no, what you do is throw it in the sink, so that I'll have to put it in the dishwasher. Make me do these crunches to get them down in the dishwasher. All that ever has to be done with that little cup today. No, all that ever has to happen is that they just have to be washed out. That's it.
No, but they're still sticky.
No,
you give them back to me, and they're still sticky.
Then it's sticky. It's fine.
I don't want it to be sticky.
You do that again, Alice. And I'm saying this right now. This is for the judge, and and I'm sorry this torpedoes your true crime novel, everybody. But I will murder you and bury you somewhere. Not even in a Tom Shattuck burial job, which is half-assed, which means this whole thing's going to be resolved very quickly. That is the worst thing in the world. Spend a lot of time on this little thing. It only needs to be months. But it's you. It's out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. Alice Shattuck is the king of
That's not true.
King of the. Who's the guy from who from Washington? The player, the basketball player is really good. He's the best 3-point shooter. Is anybody in the chat? No.
Guy from Washington?
Yeah, Seattle Supersonics, Sacramento Kings. I don't know who's the guy. Patrick Humphreys. What's his name?
I don't know what you're talking
Who's
about.
the guy who's the best shooter out there? Is there nobody in the chat? No.
Some people are in the chat.
Name the guy. Not you, Alice. Them.
I don't know. Trish wants to know if the Dayquil cup melts in the dishwasher. No, I just put it in the utensil thing upside down. It's fine. It comes out clean.
Best 3-point shooter. Basketball.
Splash in the chat says he got COVID last week and was recommended aspirin, zinc, and NyQuil.
Oh, okay. Steph Curry.
Curry, says Tommy in New Hampshire.
That's right, Tommy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Alice becomes Steph Curry when it comes to, she has her one-off shot of it or gives it to somebody else, and man, that thing goes right 6 feet away, right into the sink, so that I can have to wash this little plastic thing out and put it in. It's the same thing with Alice's.
You have to wash
it's the same thing with Alice's never-ending tower of garbage in the trash that she just could put stuff in the trash as it piles up.
That's not true.
It's my job to use telekinesis to make sure that nothing falls out and do everything. But it's out of sight, out of mind. There you go. I
take out the trash too. Often I take out the trash before the end of the night so your dog doesn't get into it at night.
That is
so you don't have a temper tantrum when you wake up in the morning.
That is your dog. I just owned that dog 7 years ago.
And you saw that you put a bunch of pork chops and things in the top of the trash, and then you're upset that for some reason she went through the trash every time.
Some wives just teach the dog not to be a vicious pirate. So those are all the things that are going on. And yes, that is if Alice is missing some night, we can wait till the podcast is over. At some point, send the authorities. It'll be around here somewhere. I'm not going to do a good job. And we can just move on. It's a fitting ending. All right. So
why bury the body?
I don't know. I probably can't bury the body.
I mean, really?
Well, I mean, because
you're just going to cause more evidence.
Yeah, but I'm asexual now, Alice. What else would I do? I don't understand.
I mean, put it in our trash bin or something.
I'd have to use my illegal dumping spot, and I can't lift my arm anymore since I dislocated it because my wife made me pull the foliage from out in front of the house. Oh, what a freaking mess. Oh, okay. All right. So, Alice, where do you want to start here?
I don't even know.
Or are the police coming?
Now I'm lost. Now I knew what was going on in the world, and now I no longer know what's going on in the world. So I don't even know. I now have lost it. But so I guess a lot. I mean, a lot of things going on in the world.
Like incredible stuff is happening with the tariffs. Trump is
Trump sneaky put in all these tariffs.
You say sneaky?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's sneaky, Alice. He's put in all these tariffs. It's a three stage phase theater.
Phase.
3 phase. No, it's not a 3 phase. It's
three stage.
Not 3 stage. There's
3 step.
3 step. No, it's 3
tiered.
It's not 3 tiered. It is 3 front.
Okay.
3-front trade wars. We're going to trade war with China, Mexico, and Canada. We're also trying to guipe the Panama Canal from the Panamanians, which may not work. And so I've been reading about this. Here's my thing about this. I don't know for sure if there is a master plan. I assume this guy is fearless at this point. I don't know if it's like did Canada really deserve this beating? I don't know if they, but I think Trump has decided to restart everything with everybody, because at the end of the day, he's a guy from New York who feels like the country's getting effed over, just like he feels like he gets effed over with contractors or whatever, and he's resetting everything. And so he's going to push around these people, and our trade with Canada results in 40% of their GDP. They will be effed.
Right, and that's the thing, is that it's such a power differential that nobody really can fight a trade war with us. You know what I mean? So, and like you say, I don't know if there's really an end game here. I don't know anymore kind of what to think about this. I feel like, you know how the media keeps complaining about how there's just too much news and they can't cover it all, and Trump is moving too fast and it's just a dizzying pace of things that he's doing, so they can't panic enough about all of it in an appropriate way to the American people to really drive it home how much he's messing up the country. I'm out of energy to think that hard about it a little bit. I don't know what the effect of it is going to be. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to stay or if he's going to get some concessions and then take it away. I don't know if, at this point, and I studied economics. I've always kind of believed the conventional wisdom on trade wars and tariffs and everything. But at this point, with the way that expert knowledge has gone the last 20 years or so, I no longer know that we know what tariffs will do.
I agree with you.
I don't know. And I do know that we are the biggest badass in the world. And like you say, we make up more of every other country's trade than they make up of ours. So it could hurt us and we can afford it, but it hurts them more and they can't. Right. And so I don't know what the impact will be. I do know that Trump loves the stock market going up. And I do know that Trump loves American businesses doing well. So I tend to think that if something is dragging on and really hurting the American economy, then he's not going to be doing it anymore. Right? Trump is very responsive to feedback. You notice that about him. He something upsets him. He's right on Twitter tweeting about it. I think he's going to be very reactive to what happens here. But I also think that, like you say, he is sick of screwing around. He's sick of people talking back to him like he can't do X, Y, Z, and he's going to do it. I'd also like to point out, by the way, that Congress gave the president the power to do tariffs. It's not in the Constitution. They were supposed to set trade policy, and they handed that power over to the president because they've handed over a lot of powers to the other branches because they're lazy and they're scared of their own constituents and they don't want to be held responsible for anything. So they would rather pass things off to executive branch bureaucracies and not be responsible for voting for them. They could take that back. It's not written in the Constitution that the president does trade policy. So if they're really that worried about it and Trump's just a madman, then it would be very easy for Congress to seize back the power from him to do the trade policy stuff. So I'm not honestly that worried about it. I don't think Trump's going to mess up the economy. And so far, the trade war hasn't really impacted me day to day.
Right.
So, it could, but I don't know.
Well, it will. It seemingly it will. So Canada has slapped trades back on us. So is, let me just read you this. This is the top 5 purchasers of U.S. goods, exports. Canada, $360 billion. Mexico, $350 billion. China, $150 billion. Japan, $82 billion. Well, those first 3 are the ones who are targeted here.
Yep.
So if we can't trade into those top 3 markets, then that is tough.
Well, Absolutely. We can. I think they are just putting tariffs on us, too.
Well, right. They're putting tariffs on us. That's fine. But we can find... Canada can't... Let me play this, actually. Canada can't compete.
So...
with a lot of these countries, like Canada...
So Splash in the chat says the Canadian dollar, the Mexican peso, and the Chinese yuan all bottomed out today, and it'll get worse tomorrow. And Tommy in New Hampshire says, I'm trusting the plan, Donald, do your thing. Like, that's kind of how I feel at this point, is... For the moment, it's not really affecting me, and I don't have time to care about it, and I don't... Like, I'm not upset, and I think he's gonna... I think he's going to do what's right for America and the American economy. And I do think that we are in a position of power over these other countries.
No doubt about that. Now,
and Phil says in the chat, short-term pain for long-term gain. Like, right. I think that's a possibility, too. Like, I think it could hurt the American economy, but it hurts other people more, and we'll get what Trump wants out of it. And I think he's also, by the way, not just trade, but for all foreign policy, taking steps that are showing the world, like, you are not dealing with an empty White House ghost ship anymore.
Right.
He's showing the world there's somebody in charge. Do not F around.
Right.
And I think everybody in the world is taking that message to heart, including a lot of the bad guys that we want to be thinking that.
Yes, and I think when you remember that first overseas European trip Trump took in 2017, where like the president of Romania stepped in front of him and Trump like ripped him back, and I think that's a lot of what this is.
Right.
It's level setting for the rest of the world, and just saying no, we're not doing that. He's not anymore using the veneer of Washington establishment diplomacy and
all the experts say we shouldn't do this. Oh, haven't you heard about Hoover and the trade wars and that caused the Great Depression and this and that and other stuff? And I mean, like, I've been seeing people post stuff, and I know I took economics, but I don't understand this stuff well enough to have a very strong opinion on like what's true or not here. But a lot of people posting stuff about like Nixon era policies doing stuff like this, like in the 70s, that, you know, were short, like Phil's saying, a short-term pain for long-term gain in the American economy situation, where, you know, we eventually saw the benefits from some of these policies as we became like the economic superpower of the world. And I will say too, like, there's so much talk about China being such an economic superpower, but they're really, really in demographic trouble.
Oh, totally.
I mean, the one-child policy, which Biden, of course, called smart years ago because he's on the dumbest side of everything every time, without fail. But the one-child policy has like ruined them demographically. They're in worse shape than us demographically in terms of like birth rates and stuff. And they like can't get people to have kids. And, you know, that's one of those things that it seems fine in the moment, but like the population issue is going to be an issue for countries that do not grow. And like, it's going to come to haunt us too pretty soon. But it's funny because all the very smart people, like the experts we're talking about, that for years talked overpopulation and this and that, like, were absolutely catastrophically wrong. And if humanity goes extinct, it's going to be because of how wrong they were. I mean, the things I've heard it like most compared to in terms of the population loss we could be looking at in future years as a planet is like, it could be the equivalent of the Black Death on a global scale in terms of like we've never had an event in human history where the population will decrease as much and as rapidly as it's going to in the coming decades.
Right. And so for entitlement programs here, that means we're in trouble.
It means
we're already
bad.
in trouble.
Right.
And for a place like China, that means if you're over 60, don't take any long walks away from the apartment, because chances are a van's going to grab you, and they're going to put you in it. They're going to put you away for your own safety. Okay, the dog is barking because of course she is.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Your daughter's right. But yeah, like it's going to be interesting. But yeah, we are. I don't think China's going to be the economic powerhouse that everyone was predicting it was going to be. Like when I was in high school, they were telling us like, oh, everybody's going to be learning Mandarin. Right now, Spanish is the language to learn, but someday it's going to be Mandarin. You're all going to like China's going to be bigger, more economically powerful than us in X number of years. That's not going to happen. Like, it's already...
But they have huge global influence. They're in every continent.
Oh, they do. They're huge. And they're going to continue to be huge. But they're topping out. The only population growth, really, in the world in the coming decades is going to be Africa. And they're going to level off, too. Because that is apparently what happens.
Interesting. This is a Canadian guy named, I think it's John Cerrone, talking about what the tariffs mean.
Donald Trump's tariffs are going to turn Canada into a third world country. Without exaggeration, we will soon be better known as Snow Mexico. So first, what is a tariff? A tariff is an import or export tax, meaning anything that goes into America being sold to an American company or individual will have a 25% federal tax added to it to be paid by the person who is buying the product. Now, again, this doesn't mean Canadians will have to pay 25% more, but what it does is it prices us out of the international market when it comes to America. Americans will just no longer buy anything from Canada. To put it into perspective as to how big of a deal this is, roughly 60% of our international trade is with America, and that accounts for 40% of our overall GDP. So our trade with America is almost half of our entire economic productivity, which is about to just be wiped off of our spreadsheet. And again, to really hammer in how serious this is, Doug Ford has said that his team has already advised him that he can expect unemployment numbers to go up by 500 to 600,000. Ontario's current unemployment is 600,000, meaning our unemployment is expected to double in the face of these tariffs and will definitely reach double-digit percentage-wise. Now, why are these tariffs being put in place? Donald Trump has cited our border as the issue. Over the recent years, the number of individuals being apprehended at the Canada-U.S. border that are on terrorist watch lists has skyrocketed. So to put... As a comparison, it's roughly 350 individuals on terrorist watch lists apprehended at the Canada-U.S. border compared to 150 at the Mexico-U.S. border, meaning Canada is now the preferred route into America for terrorist and criminal organizations.
So that's what the Mexico thing, too, is a lot of this. Mm-hmm. So these countries, a lot of the immigration stuff. So these countries now can comply and kiss the ring.
Yeah, but I think that's what this is about, is he wants all these countries to come to him and be like, Mr. Trump, what can we possibly do to get you to get rid of these terrible tariffs? What can we, like, I think that's the idea, ultimately.
I do, too.
You know, Trish says in the chat, FAFO, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I kind of feel like that's what it is. Trump's like, I'm going to joke about annexing you on Twitter, and you're not going to talk tough about it. I'm going to rename your stupid Gulf, the Gulf of America.
Right.
And you're not going to do anything about it. You're going to applaud and say, that's awesome. We love America. 3 cheers for the Gulf of America. And stop letting people in through your border. Like, that's what this is about. This is about, it's a power play. It's America is the greatest country, and you guys all had better admit it.
Right.
Publicly, and say we won, and then I'll lift the tariffs and we can all go home. Like, that's because I do think probably it will, like, short term, you know, make things probably more expensive. Do we think so?
I would think so.
I mean, it seems logical, but I don't know. One more interesting thing that I've heard
Walmart
about
will cost more.
Right. One more interesting thing.
Or Walmart will start buying from elsewhere.
Well, right. Walmart, but Fatty can't even get on this.
Rough luck, Ben.
Poor Pepper. Oh my gosh. Okay. One more interesting thing that I heard about this is not just Walmart, but they're going after the de minimis loophole. Have you heard about this? So basically, all these companies, like...
Can you tell me how to spell this? I can put it in the show notes before I pass out. De minimis...
DE space.
Hold on. D, is it capital D?
Yeah, sure.
Space.
Minimis.
Jesus. DEMINI.
So DE space.
Okay. Mini. Scuss.
Mis. MIS. Minimis.
Okay.
Okay. De minimis. Yes.
De minimis.
Loophole.
Loophole. De minimis loophole. Okay, go ahead.
So basically, you know all these companies like Temu and Shein and stuff? Well, part of the reason they're able to be so hyper competitive, and I've talked about this before as somebody who does like some digital marketing and stuff, is they distort the online digital marketplaces enormously, in part because they're willing to lose money on all their transactions because they're run by the Chinese government. But they also get around all of our import laws because the import laws don't apply to stuff that's under $800 coming in. Like a shipment that's under $800, they don't like check it first to make sure that it wasn't like made by slaves or, you know, all this, or made of toxic metals like lead, or that it's not like a counterfeit product that's stealing American IP and all of these things, right? So they're getting around all our import controls because they're shipping straight to American consumers at cheap prices and not going over the $800 threshold. So, like, if I'm the Gap and I have to ship my clothing from China in a shipping container, it's way more than $800. I have to follow all these laws and protections and taxes and go through ports and like all this stuff. Whereas if I'm Temu and I just like ship one package overseas,
go direct from Uyghur to American.
Right. So, and it's called de minimis because it's like supposed to be so small because it's under $800, right? But the problem is this was all put into place, all these rules, before there was like online shopping at Temu and Shein, which became a huge industry and accounts for millions of dollars of American money and like what we're spending it on. And it's counterfeit products and all sorts of like these drop shippers and stuff that are, you know, sometimes ripping off Americans. And like, I've talked about this, even when you go on Amazon and all this stuff is like, the brand names are like clearly made by AI and the packaging looks wrong. And it like looks like the real thing, but it's not. And all the brands like look the same, but it's not the same thing. And like, we've ordered stuff before, it's like missing parts and whatever. The quality controls on this stuff are not good, and like that's absolutely something that should be cracked down upon because there's no reason why like big successful American companies should have to follow these rules and like Temu and Shein.
Well, right, but also just think that's terrible for American small business too.
Yeah,
you know, if there's any small businesses anymore that like sell a lamp or anything, that's terrible.
So
then again, it's consumer friendly.
It is consumer friendly because people want to buy cheap junk from overseas.
Right.
Like that's the American consumer has proved that they enjoy buying cheap junk from overseas. I mean, like American Apparel did the experiment, right? When they got bought by some other bigger company and they were all American made. And that was part of their business proposition. And they put on their site side by side products, one made in America and one not. And the one made in America was a few dollars more expensive and they couldn't sustain it.
Ugh, are they out of business?
No, they just don't make the stuff in America anymore. Yeah, you know, because nobody bought the stuff that was made in America that was a few dollars more expensive. So that was the end of that. So,
you know, I wonder actually, Alice, if now is culturally the right time for people to commit to buying American. Now that Trump is big union, big patriot.
Yeah, I mean, is it good for the longshoremen's union though?
There's still stuff coming in. Plus, he made them whole. He's paying them off, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's going to be interesting. You know, it's an exciting ride with Trump. At this point, I'm just like along for the ride and I'm not emotionally upset by any of it. You know,
so you're not doing the Anne Frank strategy yet?
No, not yet.
It's freaking all over Facebook. People I went to high school with are telling people now it's the guys, we've reached the phase where it's the Anne Frank strategy has to be invoked. Here's another guy. Civil disobedience becomes a sacred duty when the state has become lawless and corrupt. That's from Josh Davis, who's a lawyer and was just fine when Biden was doing lawfare.
It's incredible to me because...
Here's another one. Hold on, Alice. Let me get your take on this. Here's another person. Somewhere in the USA, there is a Latina, Anne Frank, hiding from ICE in an attic. Take that apart. If there's a Latina, Anne Frank, then she's, I assume, worried about Nazis.
Right.
And, like, which political party, which people with what signs hate the Jews and love Hamas?
I know.
Like, the Latina Anne Frank is afraid of the Nazis. Because Latina Anne Frank is not going to be sent to a concentration camp to die from ICE.
Well, just Guantanamo Bay.
Right, Gitmo, which is actually like a totally humane and great idea. But the moment the left gets to say camps, there's camps. Oh my God, there's camps. Imagine that. You get to be in the freaking middle of a gorgeous island while you wait. Ban your criminals? Oh. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here's my other one. This woman we've talked about before. As of now, Anne Frank rules apply. Protect targeted people and make sure they don't disappear. Hide targeted people and make sure they are informed. Deliver no usable information to any official person. Offer no help or facilitation to any official person. Surround yourself with trusted people who feel the same. Anne Frank. How many more suburban women...
Well, and it's funny, too, because due to the lack of actual Nazis trying to ransack their homes looking for hidden illegal immigrants, instead of that, they're just, like, turning on their regular neighbors who aren't doing anything to anybody. There was, in the Melrose Facebook group, the uncensored one this week, there was, well, this guy, I mean, he's not real because his name is Art Vandelay on Facebook, but
joined.
He put in the group just as like rage bait. What are the MAGA restaurants, businesses in town? F these guys. Let's boycott these folks who support this tyrannical fascist administration. What businesses? So, I mean, which he's a troll, I think, obviously by that and like some of his comments further down. But the problem is, there are a bunch of people who actually do live in Melrose that I know are real people and are real liberals who are not trolling and took this seriously and started naming businesses and agreeing with each other that they couldn't shop there and that these people should be arrested.
Right.
So, which is insane. So, the like original poster goes, I did hear Town Line Luxury Lanes owner is super MAGA and was at January 6th, not going bowling there again. So this is great though, because it provides us with a list of businesses we should absolutely support and Tom should reach out to for advertising on the Burn Barrel, but a little free advertising today anyway. Town Line Luxury Lanes. Andrea, who's a real person in Melrose, writes, wow, was he charged with anything? I won't step foot in that place ever again. And she goes on to say, you know, that like, even if he was at January 6th, even if he did nothing violent, she can't, support a business of somebody who has an insurrection. Somebody else, then Ray Chen, who is a real person who lives in Melrose and is a big liberal activist and freaking hated me when we lived there. Said the worst things in the world on Facebook about me, but whatever. Anyway, he goes, well, there's that Joel Salvatore guy with the Bay State Exteriors business.
What an a-hole.
Vazzi Refrigeration, who advertises on here and loves Columbus Day. Dun, dun,
wow, can you believe that?
Patroni's Pizza, though they changed owners, so you might want to verify that one. Melrose
by
Glass,
the way,
who in 2016 drove around proudly with their MAGA stickers.
By the way, the Burn Barrel podcast endorses all of these businesses.
We endorse all these businesses. Actually, the Melrose Glass people are awesome.
They are freaking awesome.
We freaking know them and love them. They're great. One of the appliance stores, I don't remember which one.
Just do both of them then.
Yeah. I mean,
one of the appliance stores, like in Melrose, there's like there's Gray's Appliance and there's another. Look, these are anomalies that there are any appliance stores left.
Yeah, maybe you should be happy that you have real appliance stores with like real appliance repair guys who can show up at your house and help you when your dishwasher breaks, things like that. But nope. No, on and on these people go. This one woman, Elizabeth, says, also, and unfortunately I looked at her page and she is actually a liberal. She's not trolling or making a joke. Also, do not forget to boycott businesses that have rolled back their DEI since Trump has taken office. They're just as bad. On and on. Somebody tells him you should start with Amazon, Tesla, Starlink, PayPal, X, Facebook, Texas Roadhouse, Home Depot, Walmart. And Ray Chen goes, yes, this should all be done with as well. Though with Facebook, I'd argue it's better to fight the system from within. Yes, that's what you're doing. You're not just not deleting your Facebook account because you love online attention. You're fighting the system from within.
I can't tell you how many final goodbyes that I saw on Facebook from people who are really credentialed, really experts in their fields, etc., saying, okay, guys, just so you know, if you didn't get it, I'm taking this exception to come back to Facebook to tell you to follow me on Blue Sky this one last time. And then to also do the Anne Frank rules. Okay, that's it. Goodbye from me forever, and they'll be back next week.
But there's not going to be enough people on Blue Sky to applaud them for their bravery in fighting off ICE from capturing all the illegal immigrants in their neighborhoods. So they're going to be back on Facebook. I mean, like, how is anybody going to know that they're boycotting Melrose Glass unless they go post on Facebook about it? They are the most unbelievable people. Whatever. That's the problem, is it's like, there's this one woman, Anne Marie, writes, there's Dave Lucas, the Melrose real estate attorney. I don't know if he's MAGA, but I know he's a Republican. And his behavior is very Trump enabler coded. How dare I don't know if he's MAGA. Like I don't even think Dave Lucas is like a Trump supporter. Maybe he is, but whatever. Just insane people. Insane people. I can't tell you how unhinged they are. And they're doing this where they're like lashing out at local businesses because there's no Nazis showing up to try and round up illegal immigrants for them to fight.
Right.
So the best they can do is fight the local appliance store because they have a friggin' American flag or something.
Exactly.
Unbelievable behavior. Like, I just... Meanwhile... well, we're getting close. Should we jump to the chat and then talk about the DNC and the Patreon show? David Hogg is the newly elected DNC male vice chair. They have a female vice chair, too. There's so many good sound cuts from the DNC. Thank goodness they've learned 0 lessons from 2024. 0 lessons. Actually, no, that's not even true. They've learned the opposite lessons of what actually happened. The problem was, honey, they did not lean into DEI and radical progressivism enough. That's the issue.
Don't say honey anymore, brother. Those days are over. I am not swayed by your beauty anymore. It does nothing for me. But yeah, I actually had, I put on Facebook, I just
Trish asked if they're going to stop Googling stuff because Google dialed back their DEI.
Seriously?
They're going to have to use Bing now.
Yes.
I don't know what to tell them.
But Microsoft, no, Gates had a good meeting with Trump.
Oh, shoot. Well, I guess, you know what?
You know what's
Maybe
funny?
They should just all get offline. I think they'd be happier anyway.
So what are they going to do when after they realize that every major, 90% of every industry and every almost demographic is in the Trump coalition?
I don't know.
We're going here. No, we're going here.
Boycott Amazon. Like, do you realize like half the internet is hosted on Amazon web servers?
Yeah,
like,
there's no boycotting Amazon.
They can't. I mean, they're so in the minority now. And when we play these DNC cuts in the Patreon show, like they're working on trying to become a smaller minority.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's what they're doing right now.
It's amazing. It's like the DNC.
They're like, we'd like less power, please. Don't elect any more of us.
Oh, it's so amazing. This stuff is amazing.
That's basically what their party message is.
And you know what?
Now.
It's what the DNC now, and Democrats now, are run by a force that they cultivated for now a couple of decades, and they promoted self-congratulatory behavior, self-promotion. They promoted this idea that the energy and the spirit of the speaker is more important than any kind of resume, and they did this thing. Like, you saw since George Floyd, it's like somebody would eventually say on Joy Reid, black women are sick of cleaning up after white America. Like, okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Chevron, like all the companies that had DEI policies and did like Pride Month stuff, and like they're now all like doing that, but with Trump. Not that anybody should buy into that. None of these companies are doing it because they really believe friggin' anything. They're just doing it because now that's what we do. Because the culture's changed. Chevron now in there, they put out their like whatever quarterly investor report thing, and it's all like, oh, our projects in the Gulf of America this year, blah blah blah. Like they're all using the word. They're all they've bought it.
Well, right, and let the record show that nothing that he's doing isn't a template that they've created. Right. They created TD Bank being rainbow for a month. You know, they created all of this ESG, all of this compliance stuff, this absurdity with all gender bathrooms, etc. There you go. Now we're doing it.
Yeah. Now you wanted all the corporations to put out team colors for what political team they were on. And unfortunately, now your team is a bunch of losers, so they've chosen to display the other team's colors.
Right. Ready for the chat, LB?
I am ready for the chat.
Hi, folks. I just wanted to touch base regarding the Senate confirmation hearings and how these Democrats are yelling at the nominees like they're children. And it reminds me of when, you know, you're a younger brother to an older sister who won't let you join her little club that she has with a couple of her friends, and they make you jump through hoops, and they still won't let you be a member, etc. And because the Senate is the most exclusive club on the planet, and it's like in order to get through them, you have to take the abuse and everything. Oh, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. Also, totally. I had a meeting yesterday, and it was for the DEI department of our company. And man, I'm still looking for a new job. I just got to tell you that. I'm just so done. They've dug their heels in. They're DEI all the way.
Well, they've invested a lot, but it's the same thing with my company, Dr. Cheswick. I've got like all these reminders of trainings that I'm supposed to be doing to not rape my colleagues, and it's like takes hours and hours. And they've invested so much in this stuff. Of course, you know, this has been a pain. This is gone now, but the companies, they move slowly and they don't want to do anything. It's fascinating too, because like it's such a departure from logic too, because in my job, I am doing training where I am supposed to comply word for word with all my implicit biases, and then I go on the air and blast that exact thing. So, okay, we're doing it, I guess, but that's really for everybody. Everybody has just always done this and been like, oh, just get through it.
Yeah, but none of your managers that's like asking you to do it even knows or cares what's in it. Like, they don't believe in any of this.
No, they're just trying to survive.
It's great to see Adam Schiff, Amy Klobuchar, Crazy Bernie, and Pocahontas melt before our eyes during the Senate hearings.
Yep.
But isn't this all done for drama? Isn't this just one big phony bit? 99.9% of the senators already know how they're going to vote when the process begins.
Oh, totally.
Totally agree.
So why go through this charade? Why go through days of interviews when nothing is going to change? And, you know, the Republican Party just needs 50 votes and J.D. Vance is going to break the tie. So why waste all this time when nothing's really going to change? I mean, these people know how they're going to vote. Let them vote and move on to the next person. And, you know, let's say RFK or Tulsi or Kash Patel don't get in, then Trump's just going to nominate someone else and they're going to get in. So
yeah, or he's going to recess
all this
them.
Hearing is one giant bit, and it's just a charade. And I mean, aside from watching these people melt, I just don't see the relevance in going through all this. It just seems like a waste of time.
Yeah, they need to take the cameras away from all the psychos on Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
all their hearings, everything.
Yeah.
Like
these are campaign ads. That's all it is.
Yeah, they're cutting ads, and then what they do is then you get 500 fundraising emails from them that say like, "Today I held RFK accountable for his dangerous views. If you want to help me keep making America safe for our children, then you have to blah 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 blah." Like this is. It's so stupid. It's such a waste. It's a grift. Like, yeah, they need all their video cameras turned off in the halls of Congress, and all of these hearings will end because, like you say, Steve, they're not like thinking about which way they're going to vote.
But can't we let them burn themselves out? So, for instance, eventually,
they're
so stupid. And that who's the girl, the Ass Queen girl, the who's
Crockett.
Yeah, Crockett, who I do find hot. And the other ones, etc., who are like, it's so performative and so stupid performative.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and it's the left and the right. That eventually won't it just wear off? Won't you just be like, ugh. Like, for instance, today Kanye West was at the Grammys and his girlfriend was naked.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, technically, I think she was wearing something.
There was a sheer thing over, but there were no questions to be asked.
You had to look harder to see the thing than to just see
right.
that she was
naked. She was totally naked. You can see everything, and it's fine. And by the way, there's almost naked is hotter than totally naked. Can we agree?
I think so. I think totally. Naked bodies are not the most attractive look for most people. But.
Well, you've been spoiled, but
so true.
But like after a while, I don't want to just see the pure. Okay, I get it. You're going to the lowest common denominator of your existence, and so you go. So now we're just naked. Okay, I get it. Ooh, same thing with these people acting like jerks and psychos. It's like eventually, okay, turn the channel. And I think actually a lot of Democrats have actually turned the channel and like just whatever.
I mean, everybody's turned the channel from that. They're useless.
Well, yeah, but all the coverage and a lot of the haughtiness, etc.
Hey, Tom and Alice, this is Ryan calling from Westfield, Indiana.
Wow.
That's right, you have at least 2 listeners in the state.
Here we go.
I've been listening for over 2 years now and really enjoy the show.
Thanks, Ryan.
I'm anticipating the arrival of a little Jerry Callahan ball cap. That'll be here next week.
Very nice.
I used to listen to Jerry's show, but it's been a very long time. He's no fun. He's too serious.
So hold on. I got to defend my friend Jerry. Thank you, Ryan. Jerry actually is very fun. My thing is that he needs somebody else in there with him. He needs somebody else in there with him to give him time to be funny because he's a funny bastard. I text with Jerry, and everything he texts me is freaking hilarious. He's a funny bastard, but he's got to do a lot of work now when he's doing this. Like, and so I don't think he has the amount. Somebody should jump in there with Jerry. I would do like.
I don't think he wants a co-host.
He doesn't want a co-host, but it should be like just revolving second chairs or whatever. I would do it once a week. You probably will. If you could, you probably.
I'm not really available.
Right. But like I know that there's a few people who would be fun who get the Jerry thing, but I still listen to the show and he still does a good show. But it is like he is very alone,
which is why I like you guys.
That's right.
I prefer podcasts that have interruptions from dogs and
there you go,
kids and technical difficulties and co-hosts that are coming and going. So keep up the good work. Keep having fun and bringing levity to the world of politics. Take care.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
That is great. Alice, another plus mark for Indiana. We have nothing bad to say about Indiana.
That's
Ryan,
where my grandparents are from.
Ryan, Justin, your grandparents, your sister went to
Lived
college
there.
We
she
went
didn't
to
go to
what was that town with the great bar we went to with her?
Indianapolis.
Right, but she was in a college town, like a little north of it, I think.
No, technically that was still Indianapolis. In the Midwest, the cities go on. Here, that would be a suburb.
It was a bar with a bunch of murals of like Jimi Hendrix, etc. It was an absolutely great place. That is great. Alice, we're global, dude. I'm somebody now.
Yeah.
Just think. We're on the precipice of being huge stars, and I'm asexual. What a waste. My goodness. Nice talking to you, Ryan.
Clouds roll.
No, wait, no, not time for this one.
Not
Damn.
that.
Okay. Sorry.
If you're, yeah.
At this point, there are people less insane than me in asylums right now.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you're on Patreon, just stay there because we're going to go talk DNC. I feel like there's more we wanted to get to, too. I have to check my notes from various things that were going on in the world.
So what do I do at sports events now with our kids?
Because you don't want to check out MILFs anymore?
Yeah. Just watch the sports the whole time?
I don't know. I guess so.
Oh.
I know. Life's tough for you. I'm sorry, but maybe you'll recover. I don't know. I hope you will. If you're on Patreon, stay there. You can sign up for that at patreon.com/burnbarrel. If you like listening for free, that's awesome. You can listen at burnbarrelpodcast.com.
C'est la vie.